Alrighty, y'all. Out here today doing some damage control on a horse farm here, not too far from the house. Went deer hunting this morning. Dad shot a nice one. I didn't see anything. I went and helped him about noon, and I'm out here. I'm gonna knock a hole in this dam, get some water flowing. We're flooding these people's pasture here, and I'm gonna show y'all how I snare beaver. So start busting this dam out. All right, guys, so the dam's right down there. I just busted out. We got some runs coming up out of the water and some trails going up through this brushy stuff. So I'm gonna gang set it really good with, I don't know, maybe half a dozen snares or so throughout here. But I'm gonna show you how I do one right quick. All right, y'all, I'm using a 3/32 snare here. I cannot remember the maker of these. I bought them from F&T Post, who I buy pretty much all my trapping supplies from. But I've got a Berkshire earth anchor on the end of it here. And all I'm gonna do is take my stake driver, drive it right over here to the side. Hope that'll hold. Pretty soft there. I may have to get an extension cable. Pretty sturdy there. I'll tuck that back down in, kind of hide it. I'm gonna take a snare support, which is just a piece of, I believe it's 1/2" rebar with this piece of 9-gauge wire on here. I'm gonna drive it in. I'm gonna go kind of low because there's horses in this pasture here. Normally I wouldn't go that low. I would use it as its own kind of fencing. But I'm gonna get me about a 9 to 10-inch loop. I'm targeting right behind the front legs because the beaver doesn't really have a neck to go around like you would do in conventional snaring. About 10 inches. And then our snare has this little plastic collar here. What we're going to do, we're just going to get it. We're going to stick it, this 9-gauge wire snare support, right in that plastic collar there. Now that we have that, we're going to get our snare and we're going to set it just on the edge of the ground there. And I like to put my lock right up top there. So now I'm going to grab some beaver sticks and we're going to fence around this so that this is their only access point in and out of the water is through our snare loops, what we want. All right, y'all, so I went and got me some beaver sticks out of the dam. And the reason I've done that, I typically try to do it. One, it's helping me break up the dam, which is another part of the job I'm doing here. And two, if I use these sticks that are already peeled, then the beaver's not going to be attracted to it to try and eat it. And I like to just kind of put them on each side of the snare there just to help sturdy it up a little bit. And then I'll go on the sides here, kind of around it, to act as more of a fence, kind of corral them into my trap there. That's one thing about beaver compared to other animals. You can really fence them in, whereas I tend to not fence other animals such as coyotes. But a beaver, you can really make him go where you want him to go. That's one reason I I think they're one of the easier animals to trap. Pretty much done here. The only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of my Dobbins lure. Backbreaker is what I use for beaver. I've had a lot of success with it. So take it out, find me a smaller stick here. I'm not crazy about that big stick. Anyhow, just gonna get me a little bit of backbreaker. It's a caster lure. Doesn't take much, and I'm just gonna stick it right there. So that's one. Make sure there's nothing in the run. That's one. Let's put some more in. All right. Not sure how well you guys can see this, but we've got pretty heavily used trail going there, as well as a pretty heavily used trail going here. And there's a slight trail too kind of running there, and they all condense on this one run. So I'm gonna set it for sure. Got some freshly cut sticks here. Freshly cut sticks over there. Those were not there yesterday. Looks like there may be some more right over there. There's kind of some trails coming down here. There's an old tree they've cut down at some point in the past. I've been chewing on, as well as pretty large cutting over here. Another run. Set it here in a minute. Yeah, there's a decent sized tree there they've cut on at some point. Man, it's a good sized tree. Maybe another run, actually. It's like a little bit of an older one, but yeah, run at one point. Looks like a pretty heavily used one over there as well. So, a lot of sign in here. Keep setting. Alrighty, y'all, got about half a dozen sets in. I got a mock caster mound set here at the dam. I also have a snare leading up to the dam at one of the holes I made. Hoping they'll come in and patch it tonight. I kind of fenced it in. And then as we work around this way, the first set I showed you guys that I made. Got one there at a run. And we come around, kind of work through these trails here. They got beat through this brush from this creek. Got another one where all these trails converged, going down a run. Come over here. We go by these old down trees they cut down. And we have another one on a run. As well as on this pinch point, this trail going by this tree. So I believe we've got a pretty good little set of traps here, snares. I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna go get in a deer stand. I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow and we'll see if we've got anything. Alrighty, y'all, out here on the trap line this morning where we set the beaver traps yesterday. First night I had to mock caster mount here, and something knocked my snare down, but as you can see, I got one right over there in the snare where I set it here in this opening where I had knocked the hole in the dam. So gonna take care of it, get it out there, and then check the rest of the line. All right, y'all, we're checking the third trap here coming back from the dam, and we got another big one. So pretty cool, 2 on the first night. I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. So I'm gonna take care of him. Alrighty, y'all, got that beaver out of there. Hazel's over there looking at it. She come out with me, and Gus and Sarah on the trap line today. So anyhow, so with snares, I don't know if I covered this when I was setting these or not, but they are a one-time use. So once that beaver gets caught and it's twisting and rolling and trying to get out, it kinks the snare up pretty bad. You can still use them for things, but not for using them as a snare again. So what I mean by that is you can use them as a cable extension, maybe for your DPs or even for other snares. You can take the swivels off, your locks off, they're not damaged. You want to build your own snares. So anyhow, just gonna get my new one on here. Get my S hook. Just like so. I'll clean this run back out my foot here. Some water, get it slicked up. Kind of some eye peel from the bank, or from the water rather, on the bank. Good and slicked up. I'll set my 10-inch loop. Just like so. Grab my snare support, stick it in my plastic collar. And now I'm gonna go grab some beaver sticks for some fencing, but that's a remake. Here. And here's your back breaker. All right, poke the stick in there. You got some on there? All right, good job. All right. Now, bend down and put the stick it like this. We got to put the smell down. They won't come around without the smell, right? Oh. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Does it look good?
Yeah, but what happened to them smells on the other sticks?
What happened to the what? The smells on the other sticks?
Yeah.
We only put it on one. You only put one little stick with the smell, okay? Do you like trapping? Is trapping fun? All right, you ready to go?
Huh?
No, put out some deer corn.
Sure.
Okay.